Hello and welcome to AP Psychology. My name is Amanda Rollman and I'll be teaching your student for the 2012-2013 school year. This is my 5th year here at Oak Hills High School, my 2nd teaching AP Psychology, although I have taught Introductory Psychology since I came to the school. The purpose of giving you this video tutorial is to provide you with an understanding of what we require the students to carry out in terms of procedures during the school year, and also how you can access the resources that are available to our AP Psychology students. So first and foremost, I want to make sure that you have my contact information. You can reach me here at the high school at 922-2300, extension 5583. If I'm unable to get to the phone, simply leave me a voicemail and I'll get back to you then. The easiest way to get a hold of me is through email, and it will also ensure you the quickest response. I apologize for the very German spelling of my last name. If you struggle with being able to make sure that it's spelled correctly, simply go to Oak Hills High School's website. They do have a faculty link that lists everyone's email addresses, and they're hyperlinked to our OHLSD accounts. So it'll pop up right for you, and you can contact me that way as well. One of the first things that I want to make sure that you have an understanding of is what we give students in terms of resources. We have the Oak Hills portal that kind of organizes all of the various websites that we typically have students access on a daily, weekly basis. For our purposes in AP Psychology, you will want to familiarize yourself with Moodle, which is right here. This is where we house all AP Psychology content. Students will be able to access assignments, notes, video notes, various different supplemental activities, AP testing strategies, practice tests, all of this information and very, very, very large amounts of resources available to our students on this site. You will need your students' username and password that are issued from the school on the first day of classes. So it'll be very important that you get that information from your student right off the bat. They will need to know these usernames and passwords very, very much for this class. We have students access Moodle daily, sometimes multiple times a day. So it's very important that they keep their username and password fresh in their minds, and that they share that information with you so you can access this information as well. So once you're able to log into Moodle, it'll bring you to your course overview. For your student, it will be any class that they're enrolled in that has a Moodle homepage where information is linked. For our purposes, we're going to click on AP Psychology Rollman, as I team teach this with Mrs. Rice, who also has several classes of AP Psychology. And this is my course-specific website. At the top you can see that there is a course calendar. This enables students to not only see what is covered on that particular day, but also what the assignments are and when they are due on that day. And you can see that this goes well into September and October. So students have plenty of advance notice of when assignments are due and how we're going to go about using class time accordingly. I also want to point out to you the introductory materials. I know that parents get bombarded at the beginning of the year with so many different pieces of paper that they have to sign off on, and so I really try to make sure that this is available to you all school year so you can make sure that you are able to keep up on course requirements, make sure that you understand various different rubrics and things like that. I am going to spend a little bit of time discussing the syllabus, as well as the student information form and parent-student contract. I think it's very important that you understand some of the terminology that we have here in AP Psychology. It is very different from much of what your student is used to in terms of typical social studies classes. Our students have to know 770 vocabulary terms for the AP exam in May. This is used to measure their college readiness, and if they earn a 3 out of 5 or higher on this exam, they have the ability then to earn college credit. So they end up saving thousands of dollars in college tuition by performing very well on this test. So we really do encourage students to try their best in classes such as these that require a lot of rigor and challenge, but at the end have a very, very positive payout, not only for them, but for you as well. So, one of the terms that you will want to familiarize yourself with here in AP Psychology specifically is the best friend. That's their textbook. One of the things that students must become accustomed to in this class is that their textbook should be the very first resource or friend that they go to when they have questions, when they need answers, and just when they feel confused about something. Since this is a college level class, we do ask that students carry out college level skill sets. So they are required to bring their textbook with them every day and to use it every day. Also, something to keep in mind are the student materials. Students should have a 3-ring binder. I recommend 3 inches simply because we give them so many supplemental handouts to ensure that they have everything available to them when they begin to study and review for the AP test. So I do recommend a larger binder. I also suggest they get 15 subject tabs. If you look at the introductory materials available on Moodle, there is a binder rubric. This enables them to take a look at the various different subject tabs that we have, how they should be labeled, and what order they should be put in. That is part of the notebook rubric. They should also have loose leaf paper, highlighters, post-it notes, number 2 pencils, blue or black pens, and headphones. Oftentimes we have students use laptops in class for activities, and they involve a lot of sound. And so to ensure that students aren't distracted, we ask that they bring in headphones. These can just be from an iPod or some other MP3 player. If you are unable to get these for your student, please let me know, because we do have additional headphones in the Media Center that are available to be signed out. One other thing that I would like to emphasize is course content. I did discuss the binder. There is a binder grade. Part of what we really try to emphasize with students for this class is that it is college prep. Organization and time management are crucial to a student's success in college. So we really do try to monitor how our students are staying organized and how they're managing their time. And one way that we can do that is through binder checks, reading guides, and lecture notes. So we do have students submit those to us, and you can look at the rubrics for a better understanding of what all that involves for them. For our purposes, I do want to emphasize the lecture notes portion, purely because this is very different from what students are typically used to. Many expect lecture notes in class. While we will do that occasionally, that isn't how we typically end up going about providing notes to students. The expectation for AP Psychology is that students take these notes at home. The way that they'll do this is essentially how this tutorial is being done. They will see a presentation of the content. They will hear and see me go through it, and they will take notes accordingly. We do provide them with those handouts. We just ask that they write down the information they deem to be important. We ask that they do these before class, so that way we can really maximize the time that we have them in class to ensure we're covering what they really need to know. We also use it as a means of intervention. If students are completing the notes, they're struggling on a particular piece of information, we can have that time in class to clarify it rather than requiring them to spend a lot of time doing it on their own. So this is a different adjustment for students. It will be very strange for them to take notes at home, but I promise they will adjust. This has been the way that we've done things for the last 2 years, and it has worked out very, very well. One other thing to discuss with regard to grading policy. 2 key components, late work and absences. Myself and Mrs. Rice, we like to emphasize these 2 parts in the syllabus simply because these are 2 of the greatest ways that students can struggle in this class. We understand that the pace of the course is a lot for kids to handle, especially if this is their first AP level class. Because of this, late work ends up being a very large issue. 20% is deducted every an assignment is late. Obviously, absences, there's a slight difference. If you're gone for 2 days, you have 2 days to make it up. However, if we've gotten to the 3rd day and I still haven't received that assignment from a student, they do have a deduction added to the grade. Also of importance is the issue of absence. We do try to be very understanding when students have extended absences due to family issues, personal stuff, but one of the easiest ways for students to fall behind is that they're not in class for various doctor's appointments and things like that. We really, as I said, try to maximize the time that we have the students in class to provide them with the instruction that is needed to be successful in college and on the AP exam. So if a student is unable to be there in class and to get that clarification, it leads to a very large struggle on their part to understand everything that they need to know. One other thing I would like to discuss with you is the student information form. This was handed out to students in the first week of class. It provides me with an opportunity to not only get their information but yours as well. It also gives me a chance to get to know them, what requirements they have going on outside of school that could prevent them, for example, from being able to turn in an assignment. It leads to time constraints on their part, so I can understand how better to provide review time outside of class. I'd also like to draw your attention to the parent newsletter. I do try to get these out to parents via email or paper copy every month, so you have some means of communication from me as an update. I know teenagers are not always the most willing to discuss with you what's going on in class, so this is my way of making sure that you're up to date and that we're in communication with one another. So you will be receiving the August and September newsletter very soon. Finally, I'd like to discuss the parent and student contract. I ask that parents and students go through this checklist to make sure that they are fully 100% aware of the course requirements and what the expectations and procedures for the class are. So this handout asks you to go through specific things, for example, viewing this tutorial, and then as you've gone through and checked them off, signing and dating, and then turn this in to me by Friday, August 31st. This makes it possible for me to know that you have been able and made aware of what all is going to be involved in AP College this year. So I look forward to meeting you at Meet Teacher Night on August 29th, and very much forward to having your student in class.